Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Noding. In this episode, I want to share with you the creations of this procedural brick wall. It's actually really quite simple. So we do that so we can save Batman from the Joker. So basically, this setup allows you to kind of build some kind of bricks that's you can adjust. All right. So before we go here, it's actually, like I said, it's quite simple. Let's actually show you one thing. So I'm gonna delete everything and spread your nodes. There are two nodes that you only need to create this procedural brick grid. So with the brick grid itself, if you use the viewer draw, you can see that it's already creating like a brick topology. So this is actually a really good start. So by default, this brick grid is actually flat on the ground on the XY axis. You actually want it to be standing most of the time. And then there's actually options to cycle the U and the V. So you can see the top and bottom or the left and right. So it can cycle and it can create a nice kind of a circular brick. Okay, so the topology is already there and we can adjust a lot of things like randomizations, things like that. Now in order to make a brick, like a circular thing, we actually can use bend. So bend nodes, there are bend objects along path and bend object along surface. We're gonna try to bend this thing along path. And we're gonna try to bend it in the right axis. So let's save this very quickly. So this is a flat brick. Well, so in the past, if you actually look at my video from 2017, I made something like this. I made a brick wall using a different setup. It's actually a lot more complex than this. This one, however, is quite interesting. And let's rewire this brick first. So this is flat on the Y. We want it to be standing, so Y to Z. And we want to bend it. We want to bend it using path. And the path, probably, we can try something like line for now. So line can be a path, but the line needs to be okay in the Z-axis. All right, let's try and increase the number and try randomize this thing. So X, Y, and Z. Okay, probably this needs to be in the X-axis, but I need to ensure the bending is in the correct axis. So ideally, we're just gonna use circle and correcting the orientations. So now it's starting to get something that's more like a brick. So we can have more resolution or less, but we need to cycle this thing, so we need to turn on cyclic, I think. But you can see turning on cyclic doesn't completely close the brick, so we need to probably cycle it here as well. So this is almost correct. So the algorithm, I think this is actually pretty good. You might need to adjust the radius or the details. So you can see we are starting to get what we actually trying to build. Okay, see, as I'm adjusting the detail and the resolutions, we get the result that we want on this procedural brick well. So be careful with the number. Sometimes the number can be really sensitive, and now you see Blender is kind of frozen. So that's one thing to know. And I lost my mouse. So that's one problem sometimes I have with Squarechoke and Blender. I'm using macOS Catalina Beta, so that's also something you need to know. There's still bugs. Is it? Yeah, I think it's broken. I need to reopen another Blender. So yeah, procedural brick is a very interesting exercise, or like a puzzle. Let's hide this folder. Okay, Brickwell, the one that's the original, is actually super basic. All we need to do once we have the file, open, hide the folders. Once we get the topology of the brick, we simply need to extrude the polygon face, and we should get our brick. So this is the cleaner result. Same setup. Let's delete this. So vector rewire, and then bend objects along path. I have noise displacement here, just a little bit fancy. You can make the brick well less circular, not too much. Okay, a little bit of irregularity. So, and this noise displays. Okay, we have line. So instead of brick well, you can also create some kind of wall for a castle. That's one idea. And extrude separate faces does the job. Oh yeah, here I'm actually playing around with the height. You can actually push the brick apart if you like, and that's being controlled by this extrusion. So it's pushing the brick, but not too much again. So there's control over the scale, extrude separate faces, delete loose just to clean up the extra vertices, and then solidify how thick the bricks should be. Okay, so yeah, the setup is pretty simple, right? And on top of this, whatever Squarechoke Node is doing, I have Blender modifier on top of it. So like there's displacement with noise, just adding extra details, a bit of bevel, and then subdivisions, and another extras displacement that we don't probably need. Oh yeah, that we actually need it just to add some kind of thickness. So that's interesting. So they're closer together. Sometimes you do need this kind of details. So like each part of is actually a real mesh, but sometimes you can actually just use shader, like cycle shader and displacement can create like a really quite realistic bricks without actual details. Totally, it's similar but different, and each one has applications. So which one is the most efficient to use this? And with this result, you can easily export using this USD export or USDZ or GLB, depends on your need, and you can create AR. So yeah, the final result is just like that example that I showed you earlier. You can control actually with the brick grids. This setup is not 100% yet. Like, I mean, you can control this using this setting over here, but sometimes the setting is not always super predictable. See, I'm reducing the number, but I'm getting taller, or I'm getting taller bricks. If I increase the number, I'm getting less. So this number and the details, this number controls the details of the brick wall. However, there is not 100% predictable. So this one is correct, right? I can control the height, but the width actually controls the details of the brick wall. So those two numbers, something to keep in mind. So there you go. That's a procedural brick wall. Hopefully you find this useful. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.